John.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's a few minutes after 6. I don't know who's out there in Zoom land. I see Assistant Town Manager, Public Works Director. I see the Town Manager. Is there anybody else on? Joe?
Yeah, Rebecca's here. I'm
Hello,
calling in
Rebecca,
tonight.
thank you. If you could all join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. We have a flag here tonight. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you could all join me for a moment of silence for men and women in uniform and those fighting the pandemic. Thank you. As is our policy, we mentioned all board members and those interested. Conflict of interest disclosure, please make sure you notify the chair should there be any. Before we go, there's no adjustments to the agenda. Before we go to anything we need motions on, I want to tell the board of directors and those listening to us on Zoom that we have a police chief who has shown incredible maturity, valor, professionalism in handling a very difficult situation with an arrest he made this last week. And confidentiality precludes me giving you information as to who they are, but I want you to know that the information that was shared with me regarding what the chief has done leads me to believe that not only did we make a good choice in hiring Chief French, but he is a wonderful representative of the town of Rangeley. And if you see him, thank him for his kindness, his professionalism, and his ability to make a very difficult arrest. I need a motion to approve the April 20 meeting.
Make a motion that we approve the April 20th Selectmen and Budget Committee meeting minutes dated April 20th, 2021.
It's rough being back together, isn't it? We don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's like.
Second.
Ethan's seconded. Thank you both. Any changes, omissions, errors? All those in favor?
Aye.
I know, I don't have to go around the horn. This is awesome.
And my voice works.
Welcome back, everyone, by the way.
Yes, indeed.
Good, thank you. Public to speak for non-agenda items. Anybody raising their hand in Zoom land, Joe, I can't see? No? Okay,
Nope.
thank you.
Mr. Chairman, nope.
Okay. You have your planning board minutes in front of you. Comments, questions, concerns? All right. Let's move on to number 7, consent items. We've got quite a list here. Event permits. First one is the chamber, the Rukabai.
Motion that we approve the event permit application from the Rangeley Lakes Chamber of Commerce and the Rangeley Health and Wellness for the Rangeley Rubikai scheduled for May 29th, 2021.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? All in favor? 5-0, thank you. RFA street dance.
Make a motion that we approve the event permit application for the Rangeley Friends of the Arts for a street dance on Pond Street scheduled for July 14th, 2021 with no rain date.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? All in favor? All right, we'll stop you right there and just fill you in. It was checked out today by the town manager that all restrictions after the 24th of May for outdoor gatherings have been lifted. We don't need to worry about that. So should that come a question in your mind? Carry on, please. RFA art in August.
Make a motion that we approve the event permit application for Rangeley Friends of the Arts Art in August to be located in the Aquatic Park scheduled for August 5th, 2021.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. All in favor? RFA outdoor concert series.
the event permit for the Rangeley Friends of the Arts outdoor concert series on 7/19, 7/26, 8/9, 8/16, and 8/23, 2021.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor? Rangeley Region Sports, yeah, we're gonna watch that. Rangeley Region Sportsman, Wisconsin Sportsman, Landlocked Salmon Derby.
Make a motion to give them the permit.
Moved, I need a second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Ranger Region Guides and Sportsmen Association Strawberry Festival, vendor's license.
Strawberry Festival permit.
Second.
Like you guys step up on the outdoor stuff. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. RFA, August 5th, their vendor's license, 2021.
Make a motion to approve the application for vendor's license for Rangeley Friends of the Arts. One-day license for August 5th.
Second.
Any discussion or questions? All in favor? Thank you. Next up is, by the way, thanks to the RFA, you obviously are putting a lot of effort into revitalizing summer activities, much appreciated. For your information, we need a motion tonight for the town manager to sign the Workmen's Compensation Fund Safety Incentive Program. Any questions from the town manager on that? Need a motion to have him accept and have him sign.
So moved.
Mr. Chair,
We're gonna move motion and,
Joe.
yes, Joe.
Mr. Chairman, the document actually has places for each individual board member to sign the resolve.
We have to sign it.
We have to sign it?
Yes,
Okay,
All right, so I'll amend the motion that the Board of Selectmen approve the Workers' Compensation Fund Safety Incentive Program.
Second.
moved and seconded. Are there any questions for Joe on this? He brought us up to speed on this program last meeting. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, dump truck bid opening. You had 2 from Daigle and 2 from Morrison and Sylvester. Like to have Keith's input on this if we could, please, and then Joe.
All right, thank you for let me bring this forward. As you stated, we do have 2 bids here per dealer. The difference between those 2 bids is manufacturer of the body that would go on after the fact. The more expensive is just more of a custom body. We did reach out to multiple other vendors or manufacturers, excuse me. As I stated in my report for you guys, a lot of other chassis models like Mack and those Western Star are sold out for the year and have no current release date for the new model year coming out. With that said, upon my review of the material that was submitted, I recommend that we go with the lesser model through, I say lesser model, but the lesser in cost from Daigle with the 7-year warranty included for $177 and change.
Questions for Keith?
Yeah, I'm just gonna vote no, so it makes a difference.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna vote against it, because I haven't seen anything, just these numbers that don't tell me nothing.
Any comments, Joe or Keith?
Mr. Chair, I'm not sure quite sure what the question was.
Yeah, I haven't seen any paperwork on these bids. That's why I'll be voting against it, it's a table it or whatever you wanna do, makes no difference to me, whatever you wanna do.
Is there paperwork available on the specifications?
There is.
Yes.
All right. Is that possible for us to have the specs so that we can take a peek at that?
Absolutely.
All right, what's the time frame on accepting the bid?
I'll just be honest with you, every week or every day we goes by, it extends our return on that vehicle. So right now, we're 6+ months out.
So, wait a minute, I didn't understand that. You say every day that goes by, the price is going up?
No, not the price, but the length of time to get that truck back increases. So right now, just for the chassis alone, we're 6 months out for the chassis, and then additional time for that body to go on.
Hard to get,
What's that?
they're hard to get,
Yeah, yeah,
everything's messed up.
yeah. You're fairly familiar with the price range. How's this sound to you?
Well, we priced new ones out for a while, so I don't know, I wouldn't buy these brands anyway, but
Right.
I'd do some more research, but. Cause it ain't emergency, this truck, I mean, to me, I'd get the right one for me, but
And you're thinking this isn't the right one?
not to me, not international.
Did you hear that?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The specifications that we reviewed, I don't know when it was released a couple months ago or a month ago, didn't change. They're the same specifications that we reviewed internally, and the responses were based on those specifications. It is a tough market right now, as Keith has alluded to in his report. It's hard to find even regular automobiles, let alone a truck that's capable of being outfitted for plows. Aside from the last truck that this one's going to replace, the town of Ranges had pretty good luck with International in terms of snow plowing. They did have some hiccups right around 2011 or so when they first went with a tier 4 emissions. But I think they've ironed that stuff out. To answer the question about how long are the bids good for, I think we've got, I don't know, 60 days, is it, Keith, at least?
Correct.
I'm comfortable with this recommendation, Mr. Chairman. I support it. If you look in the report, the offer is $28,000 for truck 11. That's the one that we recently put money into this winter. So we'll get something back for that, and that truck will be rehomed. It'll be relocated. And I think the 7-year extended warranty is a very wise move. That's bumper to bumper for 7 years. It's pretty good. So.
Okay, what's your pleasure? What do you want to do?
I'm okay with voting.
Y'all vote.
Okay,
Great.
entertain a motion, please.
Right. I'll make a motion that we,
Can I just ask one question? So
What'd you say?
can I just ask a quick question to Joe? Like, what's your reserve on it? I guess what?
It's insanity.
Huh?
It's insanity.
The money, the brand,
I don't even know nothing about it.
oh,
What size tires are on it?
So Joe, everything we talked about in the bid specs is after I met with you, I released everything we talked about. So
I don't even know what you got on it. I just, I ain't have nothing to do with it. That's for sure.
But I'm just saying, like, this is your area more of expertise
I know a little
than,
bit about it.
right? So that's why I
The other people probably didn't respond. I don't know. I haven't talked to them, but the specs would probably want written so they could bid, maybe. I don't know.
so I can speak to that. So everything in the bid document, or their RFP release, was worded so that we were looking for compatible or equivalent material through manufacturer. And if you read that document that I supported to you with my recommendation, I reached out to O'Connor GMC, they sell Max. They respectfully decline for the fact that there's no available trucks in the current chassis year, or there's no release date for the next chassis year. Freightliner had the same issue, nothing available until 2022. Western Star, through any manufacturer or through any dealer, excuse me, had the same state that they are sold out. So other brands, other models or manufacturers right now are sold out and have no current date of release for further models. So again, the RFP was written so that it was equivalent across the board.
Joe, anything to add?
No, other than I agree with Keith, and we went through that 2 or 3 times before we did release it, and we made sure that it did say or equivalent. So if there was something, what we mean by that is if there was something that was Fleet Guard, International uses Fleet Guard, I think, is a brand name of one of their products. So like a brake can, if it was a Fleet Guard brake can or whatever it is, we would say or equivalent, so that we weren't excluding a company like Mack, and we were receptive to that. We really were. We were saying let's see what's out there. Let's see what what's available. The reality is that there's just nothing available right now. That we can put the gear on. The other side of this is the truck 11 was due in the capital plan last year. If it were a truck that wasn't giving us headaches, I would say let's wait. Let's wait it out. But this truck, Keith knows how I feel about it. I'd like to see it move on while it's still running and going, and we can get 28 grand for it.
So so it's 166 plus your old truck. I'm trying to figure it out.
He's got it down here as, I'll read it off to you. The price is 166,377 plus 11,822 for the 7-year warranty, for a total of 178,199.
So where's the other truck come in? That comes off that price?
No, that price is less the truck already. So you could add an additional 28,000, give you the actual price.
Right, that's what stuff like that.
The original asking price is 194,377, taking off $28,000 for a 2010 International Trade-in number 11.
Yeah, nothing, do what you want. Nothing.
Well, I mean, give a recommendation, Joe. I mean, everyone that's,
I recommend not buying anything right now. I'd wait and search around. Maybe you end up buying it. You know what we paid for our plow truck? We used 20 grand.
Yeah, but you got Phil. There's a difference between these guys.
Oh,
They don't have a Pepin anymore.
Oh, yeah.
So if they get a 7-year warranty,
I'm
and
just
I'm
saying.
not,
Right,
you obviously know more than I do about this. But
Oh,
that's a big difference. He's indispensable.
oh, yeah. I'm just telling you, you might want to study it out. To me, there's no emergency on getting this right now. Do some research, maybe, but
how long are we out again, Joe?
6 months.
Currently, it's at least 6 months. Which
So
would
what's
put
the
us,
month here? This is April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Starts snowing. So if we wait 2 months, we won't get a truck until December.
you gotta do what you want. I don't want my name to do anything like that. Yeah, I know it's police.
Go ahead.
But Joe, you're more inclined to buy used anyway, right? I mean, when was the last time, I mean, that's what you know
Right.
is used. And that's what you're,
Good used.
good used, you've got your
We
mechanic
don't
that
throw- We
can,
don't throw our money away.
Worker.
Yeah, we don't have a blank check.
yeah.
But I get, listen, it's just I'd research more. The trucks, the Mack, the Western Star.
So, but no one responded with those brands. So are you suggesting
How come they
used?
didn't respond to one?
It says all dealers that carried Western Star stated unavailability of chassis.
Yeah.
Whatever. Well,
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Now, I don't want to shut anybody off, but
No,
I think David made his point pretty clear. And let's move along. All right, all in favor of accepting the bid of,
I don't think we have a,
I'm sorry?
I don't think she finished the motion.
No.
No,
We're not
there's
there
no,
yet.
no official motion.
Oh, I thought you did.
Shelley had a
No,
question.
Shelley
I
asked,
had a
asked her.
question like Joe,
I'm sorry.
sorry, I had a question to Joe.
After a motion, we'll still have discussions. Technically, that's what we're supposed to.
Well, she never
do.
finished the motion, is what we're saying.
Yeah, gotcha.
That's all.
So. We read or.
Yeah, so, I'll make a motion that we accept the Daigle bid of $166,377 to include, in addition to, a 7-year warranty costing $11,822 for a total of $178,199.
It is hard to say.
Whew.
I'll second.
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay, one more time around the bend. Anything?
What's that?
What, are we voting?
Nope.
Discussion. Oh,
Okay.
good.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, thank you. Next up is May 24th, 2021, public hearing. We need a vote for the record. We gave us our, okay, that's a good date, we need a vote.
I'll make a motion that we schedule the public hearing for the final selectmen's warrant scheduled for May 24th, 2021.
Second?
Second. All those in favor? Thank you. Ratify motion to include B23 warrant article and cemetery plot donation. You want us to do those individually, Joe?
If you could do this one, yeah, it's a standalone article. It's already been printed. What happened was there was no second recorded on the vote. So there was a motion made and a vote taken, but the second wasn't recorded. So if you could just revote the article or the motion, then we'll put it in the minutes.
I'll make a motion that we include Article B23 warrant article to be added to the selectmen's warrant for 2021 to approve a cemetery plot donations.
Second?
All in favor? Thank you. For the record, that's what I had down.
I didn't write it. I checked to see, Steve.
We have no correspondence. Next up is number 9, full business, airport update. You have in your packet information that was requested. Joe, you want to fill us in on what we have here? That's the
Yes.
highlights.
Yes, sir. So we have, the first item is a project summary. That's the first one in your packet. Now this gives a high-level overview of each change order. It does not list the dates of the change orders. This document was emailed to me by Guy Ruel after our conversation a week or two ago. And then also in reviewing the closeout packet with Rebecca, this document is actually also in the closeout packet here in the office. And that packet is probably 3 inches thick. So this goes through the summary, spells out the dates of bid opening, award, and so forth, and gives an overview of the change orders and project materials and so forth. This is really just an overview. It spells out the increases and so forth. Second in the packet are the actual change orders. I know one of the questions was, what were the dates? So this gives the dates. It shows signatures. And then if the board will note, Mr. Chair, at the bottom of, I'll try to find it here. Page 2 of 2, on the second change order. This is pretty consistent that the change order has been discussed with FAA officials. That's a question that's on the standard form. On all 5 of these change orders, the box yes has been checked. There's a date and then the personnel that was contacted. So that's fairly consistent through there. So those were documents that relate to the change orders themselves. It gives you the amounts, the dates, and general summary of those. Towards the end of your packet, Rebecca put together an example of how a big project like this or a reimbursement project is handled through the town's accounting system. So you have debits and credits. This is an example. It's just for your general review. It shows credits one column, debits in the other, and talks about the closeout at the end of each year. This is an item that's audited annually. And if a project goes more than 1 year, you'll have a balance for the year end of each fiscal year. On the page before that is an email that came from our auditor where the question asked that I asked of the auditor, Rebecca and I talked to him last week, was essentially the revenue that came from the sale of the material. What can the town do with it? There are a couple of options there. One is to leave it in the reserves, which I have recommended to the board through the budget process. And then the other option could be to take that money that's available and put it into the general fund or reserve, surplus, not reserve, excuse me, surplus. So that would have to happen by June 30. So there's a host of things here. I do want to point out in Levi, the auditor's email, he emphasizes either one of those approaches are okay, but you just want to make sure where the layers in the cake, in the reserve account cake, you want to know what those are before we move them. So I know that's a lot of information, but I tried to gather everything that I kind of heard there the other night. One other question that came up that I didn't have written in here that I just thought of was the date for project amendment. That was September 20th of 2020. I did get that answer from FAA. So this is the information, Mr. Chairman, that I have at this point. And this email from Levi is in response to a document from the FAA that I apologize. I thought it printed when I printed this, but it didn't. It's a letter that says that the materials that the town sold from Chick Hill, those funds do not, they're not dedicated to the airport reserve account, essentially is what it says. So that's the information I have right now, Mr. Chair. I am working on the layers of the cake that I referenced. Rebecca and I are working on those. As you might imagine, there's a lot of work to that over the course of 3 years. I should have that to the board at your next meeting.
Okay, Cindy, you have a question?
Yeah, so what happened, Joe? How did 700 and some odd thousand not make it into this omnibus grant?
So there was a deadline of September 20th, 2020 for the town and its partners to amend the original omnibus grant. There were a series of change orders that I've talked about here recently that were not communicated in a way that would cause an amendment of the grant by September 20th.
Why? There was plenty of time. They were looking at change orders that were all dated in 2019. The deadline was September 20th of 2020. There was only one, that's change order number 5, that was the least amount for 23,000 that, you know, that was after the deadline, but you've got, so how did that happen?
that's something I'm still working on.
Joe, isn't it customary, the engineer's responsibility to make sure that we know what these deadlines are and that we don't forfeit grant money or anything like that?
I don't think that's out of the ordinary.
But
Well, it would be an expectation, wouldn't it, Joe, that that firm is correct?
Yes.
Yes.
yeah, because they're the ones that help apply for these grants because a lot of times they're complicated grants to apply for, and that's part of their duty, as far, at least what I've been involved with in my dealings.
And throughout the process, they were very aggressive with making sure that each deadline was met, to make sure that the grant monies were available, to make sure everything was right on time and on schedule with everything that needed to be done, the environmental questionnaire and all of it.
Well, I'm not okay with losing several $100,000. Just in case everybody was wondering, and if it comes to light that some entity is responsible, then
Yeah.
I want our money back. So I'll just say that right now.
Well, the thing of it is, Joe, I mean, I believe we've been told at several meetings that these grants all get audited. They're all individual, each grant that we receives its own special audit. So, you know, it's, yeah, so it's a broad responsibility for whoever is involved, the town, the engineer. We just haven't had a project of this size in,
Forever.
yeah.
And at the same time, aren't the audits supposed to be reviewed by the select board? I mean, the change orders, aren't they supposed to be reviewed by the selectmen? I mean, every time we do a road project, but I'm not sure if it's different
I
because
don't
the
see any
FAA.
selectmen's signatures on any of these change orders.
We didn't see them. They didn't make it into any meeting packet.
The change orders went from the sergeant to engineering to the FAA.
No, it has the town manager's
Oh, town
signature on
manager,
it.
yeah.
Well, I'm assuming that his signature, because he was at those meetings.
We wouldn't know. We weren't updated.
Technically, they should have come to the selectmen, that kind of money, to me,
It's
Right,
Should've
because if
been-
something happens, the grant doesn't cover it,
you know.
you're looking to,
Which one do you want to?
for us to find the money.
This
Low,
is
low, low
change
down.
order number 2.
I think the selectmen would approve that stuff.
Right,
Well, we had to for Allen Street.
Right, I mean,
yeah.
it's a lot of money to me.
I mean, I understand it's a grant and stuff, but we've had other grants before where the selectmen have done and been a part of the change order process. I just, like I said, I don't know if it's different because it has to do with the FAA or, but it's still, I mean, should be on the selectmen's radar, but. Okay. And it's not like we're just losing the 5% of the 35,000. We're also losing the interest of the money that we are borrowing from our taxpayer revenue
To pay the bills.
to pay the bill. And then we have to also, at the same time, so we're missing that interest. If we're taking the funds from the material, the revenue that we got from Chick Hill,
No, it's just for the general.
if it's just from our general fund,
You
I
really
mean,
get it.
we're still paying that out when we could have been investing that money.
The application is going to be submitted to get reimbursed for this, and it'll take time. Is that correct, Joe?
That is correct. The application, I mean, the reimbursement will be at a different rate than the original grant. It'll be through non-entitlement funds. It may take, I want to be totally honest with you, it may take 3 or 4 years to get that back.
But, you're not getting it back. It's lost money.
Right.
You're never getting it back. That money you're getting back is supposed to be for another project at the airport. At
Wait a minute, I
775.
don't think that's true.
Yeah, I think Joe's right.
Yeah, you take,
It's-
all you're
Explain
doing-
that to me.
all you're
So,
doing is taking the money that's coming every year, the airport gets so much money,
yeah,
whatever
150,000.
it is. They're taking that money to pay this bill off.
Right.
Wait a minute, are they taking away the 150,000 that comes to pay that off? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yes. So you lost the money.
Now, that's not set in stone. That's what's on the table right now. We're working through a lot of things. You'll be kept in the loop, but that's what's been proposed.
That's more than that, more research.
What's Du Bois and King's response to this, Joe?
The one thing I can tell you is they said that they weren't aware of the deadline for amending the grant.
And sometimes I forget to brush my teeth, but I can fix that the next day.
Curious, I mean, I'm pretty sure they handle all the paperwork, yes, I mean, that'd be over Rebecca's head. to handle
So
all.
you say you have to do some more research, Joe, before we figure out what we're gonna do about this?
Absolutely. So my intent this evening was to share this information with you, let you know that we're continuing to work on the layers in the cake of the money that will remain or does remain in the reserve account. And those questions about, why it happened. I've shared with you what I know at this point, and I'm continuing to look at it, and I will keep you in the loop.
Can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, and I thought I shared this with Joe, maybe I didn't. In Du Bois and King's contract, it clearly states that they are responsible for this. Today, I received an email from an employee at Du Bois and King. They submit the reimbursement to the federal system. They have to submit it, not the town, not FAA. The engineering firm has to submit it, and then I have to go in and accept it. So today they submitted a reimbursement for $1.3 million, and I mean, it's a little bit more than that, but that's the process. And if you look at the change orders, it very clearly states that the share of this change order is covered by 100% omnibus grant, no match. If you look at the dates that all things are covered, they were shared with FAA. The engineering firm shared it with the town. They shared it with the contractor. All these things were done on our part on time. And again, in the contract, it very clearly states that they are responsible for this.
Say again?
Boy King, I think, is on the hook. I think about it.
Yeah, no, that's why we're having this discussion.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So they submitted today, and is it along the same financial plan as what David and Cindy were saying a moment ago, that this application is to take it out of the reimbursement, or is this a total reimbursement from another money source?
Now, the reimbursement today was from the omnibus grant.
From the omnibus grant, not from the amount of money that comes from the FAA currently each year.
No, this was from the omnibus grant. There is the amount that was discussed prior that is supposed to be coming out of that, but today's reimbursement is from the omnibus grant.
Right, very important we understand this, because that's what I thought to begin with. And what we discussed earlier with Keith saying, yeah, it's coming out of the 150 is totally different than what you just said, Rebecca.
Well, the $700 and some will come out of that 150.
Right.
But this 1.3 million is what needed to be reimbursed up to that point.
Right.
We gotta get more information, because that sounds screwy to me.
It's on the 1.3.
I don't know what the 1.3 is.
Yeah, could you explain the 1.3, Rebecca, so we get a better handle on this?
The 1.3 is to cover the expenses that happened at the end of fiscal year 20 and the expenses that happened in fiscal year 21.
But it has nothing to do with the change orders.
No, that had nothing to do with the change orders. The reason I was telling you that is the process that has to happen to get your reimbursement. The engineering firm has to submit the reimbursement for us to be able to get it.
So the submission today is for the 1.3, and we're still out 700 grand that we think Du Bois King's on the hook for.
That's what I think.
I'm sorry?
I said, that's what I think. There's only one change order that happened after September 20th. That,
$24,000,
yeah,
24 change. Joe, we better be putting together a plan, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, I was sharing this information. Rebecca and I are working on these items. I didn't want to give you that information without something in writing and give you a little bit of time to think about it before we talked about it, which is why I was requesting bringing it to your meeting in a couple of weeks.
Okay, questions? Want to talk about where the money resides? Let
Yeah,
Joe fill that in.
let's do that.
Joe, you want to talk about, Cindy and I had a great conversation about where the money resides. You want to fill us in on what your thoughts are on that?
Oh, for the airport reserve? Yeah, so
Correct.
the funds that were revenue from the airport project have been placed in the airport reserve, which is a reserve account.
Not all of them. Not all the money. Some of the money was allocated to the general fund.
Okay.
With that? Joe? Did you hear that, Joe?
I heard that. I thought that they all went to the airport reserve.
Are we talking about the money for the fill? Is that what we're talking
The
about?
Chick Hill funds, yes. Yeah, the revenue,
Now,
yes.
hasn't that been the discussion the whole time, that it's been sitting in airport reserve? We left it in airport reserves, but we haven't moved it yet. Right?
Yes,
So why are you saying some of it's in the general fund?
because, so what I handed out was information regarding about the money, about the funds that the town was paid from the Chick Hill funds. So there was $631,994.43 that was put in the airport reserve account because it was thought that we had to put it there for the 5% match, force account match. And then there was an additional $415,968 that was put in the general fund. That was above and beyond the 5%, that perceived match. And so when Shane McDougall submitted his invoice, Shane was the engineer.
Right.
Submitted his invoice for his services for 26,000. It was taken out of the 415,968.
Okay.
So once we got the letter from the FAA, which is the second sheet, which says, no, there is no force account. These funds are, you don't have to, this is money for the inhabitants of the
Right,
town of
right.
Rangeley. They became unrestricted funds.
Right.
Which is up to the taxpayers as to how they.
Yes.
So it's just over $1 million. But even though it's the same money, from the same source, it was split.
Okay.
And so what we've been discussing, okay, the bills have been paid for the airport project was, the money should be treated the same, not stuck in a reserve account, but put in the general fund so we can.
No, that wasn't my question. I thought it wasn't an argument over where it should go out of the
Yeah.
airport reserve. I just thought I knew where it was, because that's been the whole discussion. We want to move it out of airport
Yes.
reserve, and then the discussion has been what time's appropriate for that. So when you said not all of it, some of it's in general fund, it confused me a little,
Okay,
because I thought we were still talking about just the portion of money that's in the
that's,
airport reserve.
yeah, that's part of what, like Chris Farmer was asking at the last meeting, it's like, well, where's this money, when we're gonna have public discussion about it? So, it's,
So, didn't I tell, we got 631,000 for the field, is that right?
just over, no, it's
631 for the
631
original.
plus
Plus what Sergeant,
plus the 415,968.
Sergeant got for free, right? That brought it up to, so really got $1 million for material.
Yeah.
Close to.
Well, we're gonna lose 400 of that, and we're paying for it. Okay. But the research I've done, Sergeant got material for zero.
And so because, correct me if I'm wrong, when we did do the airport and the contract, sergeants are the ones that mined all the material on Chick Hill,
Right.
correct?
Processed
So
it.
what, and I'm sure that there was a cost to that. Did that money come out of this? Like the same way with the fee of Shane McDougal? Because to me, I mean, you get revenue, but if there's an expense that goes with that, where's that part?
See,
That
in the original bid,
Mhm.
the town supplied all the big material.
In the original bid, we were supposed to pay 5%. The
Right.
negotiation was to use that material
For your
as
part.
our 5% contribution.
And they worked the numbers
With a
for
reduction.
the
of
yardage,
cost.
to what they would pay to come up with the cubic yard price for that 500, 600,000 yards, whatever it was. They
Yeah.
worked it, I think I see it in.
Yeah, the material that they crushed,
Yeah, it's
that
a
they
dollar.
created.
No, they didn't crush it. It's the original big stuff. It's a dollar something, $1.41 a yard.
$41.
They give for the big fields. They give the $1.41 to town, which is at $631,000. The next part is Sergeant either had to buy it off somebody or get it off the town.
What was all the crushers doing if they weren't crushing them?
That's processing this
That's what he's talking about.
65,
Well,
70,000
there's-
yards.
There's 4 different levels of material they put in there.
Yeah.
Monster, that it worked its all the way down to the crushed, I mean, they had stacks of crushed
Yeah,
material.
well, the exact, it was 63,000 yards and it
Yeah.
was 4,000 yards, so it was 67,000 yards crushed.
Yeah.
And Sergeant somehow, I'm doing my research, went to the FAA and changed the price and got it approved, $6.60 more a yard. More than the original bid. Follow me on that one?
No.
Here's the change order right here.
Which one do you want?
Page 1 of 2.
Sub-base course,
Yeah, see how they
base
did
course
it? See,
supplemental?
the original bid was $22 a yard. Right? Look at that top line.
Yep.
They minused it out, 1,386,000. Next one, they minused that out, $18 a yard. See how they upped it? The next line 3, they jumped it to $28.60 a yard. In line 4, they jumped it to $24 a yard. Right? They jumped it $6.60 a yard. Sergeant got. Right?
I'm missing something.
You read it, page 2, number 3 is your answer. Why, well, it ain't a very good one, but that's your answer. Why they gave $6.60 a yard.
So wasn't this when we went over the 5% and then Shane
No, it had
renegotiated,
no,
that's
no,
something
that had nothing to
different?
do with it, no. So, okay, so they talked the FAA and they're giving you $6.60 more yard. Sergeant, right? FAA gives Sergeant $6.60 more yard than bid. Sergeant turned around, made a deal with you guys.
I don't know that Sergeant even had the ability to negotiate with the FAA.
Well, I was in the meeting trying to get you guys to understand what was going on. Nobody listened to me. Now I've got the facts. It's on tape. You'll see it somewhere back through the tapes. So.
Am I missing some information, Joe? I'm just not seeing what you're seeing.
Yeah.
So the negative 20,
Contract,
You deducted that off and we'll.
Same page you had
Change
on
order.
Oh,
that, this
okay.
one here. So,
Yeah. Page
Okay.
1 and 2.
Oh, okay, all right, I'll find it. Thank you,
See
Joe.
those top 2 lines, the minuses.
and then it's.
All right,
listed
well,
on-
let me just interject here. Joe, I think it's important that we get DuBois King back in this room with us and have Joe and all of us have this discussion with not only DuBois King, but with your final results. So we can put this and get this clarified and figured out, and then make DuBois King understand that our understanding is that they're on the hook for all of the problems that we're now facing.
So.
Would you agree that that would be the format for us to,
I
so
will get
listen,
all this.
for us to do this
Fine.
tonight, go back and forth?
I just. Well, I know that.
You in agreement?
Say, I'm sorry, I'm listening to Joe and I'm listening to you, and I think Joe is talking about something completely different, something that was changed mid-contract, that was a
Change on.
true bid,
Change on,
okay?
right,
I
It
heard all of
wasn't,
that.
yeah, and how did that happen? I thought Shane negotiated all
He
of
did.
this,
He did.
but our reimbursement was stuck at $1.41, correct?
no,
160,
no, they give the town $6 a cubic yard,
Oh.
66, 666 cubic yard.
but the government paid you $6.60 a yard,
Okay.
okay?
no, I think,
So
I think Steve's right on
And
this
also
one, because I
down-
want to give Joe, I want
And
to
also
give Joe
down-
do this with
Sergeant,
the guy from the
Sergeant
engineering.
paid that.
Well, yeah, except that, if they're billing out, yeah, I hear where you're going. We're gonna talk this over.
But they
Right.
would anyway, Joe, because it was 100% funded. So
It's got nothing to do with that.
so whatever they submitted for an invoice, it would get paid anyway. So
It was good that they talked this government, the FAA, to give them this change order, but that much of that. I mean, I'm surprised they talked the government and paying $6.60 more yard. They already bid the price, it's right there. So they
Yeah,
said.
but our understanding was that that's what we were getting no matter what, because it was over and above. We got value out of that.
Right, you did, you got $6 a yard. But you go on your tapes, and those meetings I was at, and he said he'd get $6 a yard, I said, oh, wow, that's super. I think he probably 2 or 3. He said 6, it kept me right over, right? But when it all comes down to, hopefully you get that 400, it's actually 50,000, right? What that represents. But Sergeant paid 0 for fail, so you lost, if they would have paid the 2 or 3 like they should have, it'd been like 180, 200,000 lost.
With one caveat, just so that I make sure what I understand that you understand. If we didn't have this deal, we would have paid out the 700 because that was our 5% match. If we didn't use that hill.
No,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
it was 100%
5%.
Wait a minute,
Omnibus.
before the 100% funding,
I know.
long before that, when we all sat in the room and talked about this, we had, well, Joe, I was there too.
It was 0, no match. There's no 5%.
Right,
We didn't get the 100% funding until days before we went to Washington to find out about
yeah, it was a couple months
Right,
later.
that's before the even started the project.
That's,
it. Well, no, I get all of that. All right, I
this
still think we're
phase
gonna
of the
have,
project, I mean,
Huh?
the construction phase, I mean, the runway extension project had about 3 phases before we even got to this one.
that's correct.
Right,
I think we need to have them in the room so we can get all this flushed out. In agreement, Joe?
Joe's like, I wasn't here. This
It's pretty
wasn't.
complicated, but
Yeah.
once I get the paperwork, I figured it out.
If it's possible, I'd like to have, DuBois and King, Shane McDougal, Rebecca, you and all of us.
But what is
Might wanna
the,
check with
all that I care about
Check
is
legal.
the money that we need to be reimbursed.
That's DuBois and King.
That's what Joe will get back to us on. It sounds like there's something in the works, okay?
Yep.
And I wanna understand more of what Joe is
Yeah, me
talking
too.
about, but I don't think we need DuBois and King
No.
here. I
Right, you
think,
wanna get all your ducks in a row before you get them here.
yeah,
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing, though, do you take all your ducks and then you just present it to legal and then have legal go in between? We don't.
All our ducks are in the public works right now. I know everything we're thinking. So all I gotta do is listen. So I don't think there's any concern about that. We need to get this thing flushed out.
Okay.
Particularly if they get a letter from the town of Rangeley to DuBois King that says you're on the hook for $700,000. You missed your deadline.
Get the attention real quick.
Well, that ought to,
Right.
somebody ought to be coming up here going, here's the reason why, and we'll take
Yeah.
care of it. To me,
Right,
that's,
but what Shelley's saying is, well, next step is legal,
right.
if we're not satisfied.
Right.
well, no, I understand
Of course,
that, but
yeah.
I mean, you're getting the cart before the horse on that one. I get where you're going, but
Right.
I
I'm just
I
saying,
want it
like,
on that
sometimes before you
microphone.
say something and introduce it, you know, to
He
get.
said, she said, however, it gets on the record,
Right.
then we make a second telephone call. All
All right,
right, thank you.
there's something, yeah, there's,
Joe wants us to hold off a meeting before we motion to move monies, so
Okay.
we can get the entire
okay,
package to us. You good with that?
yeah,
You all good with that?
Yeah.
Anything else on the, I'm sorry, Steve.
no, this, David Haley's point, there's some, I'm gonna look, I've got some information,
I just been going by what's official documents, all of them.
yeah,
Going two together.
okay, yeah, this is a good discussion. Thank you.
Another one on there, 100,000, I don't understand.
Okay,
Okay, yeah, just.
I can-
clarify points, thank you.
Next agenda for the,
Listen, I don't want to cut anybody off. You all good?
Yeah.
All right, next up,
I think someone else was trying to speak.
Emily?
who am I hearing?
I just said I can actually provide that information with the cost for the P-152 and 154. The original price for the force account for the 5% was $1 something, and then Shane did a negotiation for the $6. So, but I have that documentation. That's easy to provide.
Okay, don't take this as me telling you what to do, but my request, Rebecca, is that include the town manager and all communications and correspondence. So he's being brought up to speed in all of this as well, please.
Oh, he's got it. Yeah.
Okay, just a request. Okay, thank you. Anything?
Nope.
Yes, something?
Nope.
Okay. I don't have anything down on the new business. Did that change during the discussion, Joe? We're in good shape on new business. Town manager reports, you have your department head updates. Guys, if you would, just give the chief a call, Chief French. And if you have time, and say thank you. Maybe he can fill you in. Calendar, May 8th, 5th annual trash pickup day. It's gotten rescheduled due to a snowstorm. I felt bad for Tracy because during that time I was sitting in 88-degree weather talking to Joe on David Haley on the phone saying, you're in Florida too, huh? But thank you, Tracy, for rescheduling. Appreciate it. May 17th, it's been requested that we do our executive session on the fire chief evaluation. He could not be here tonight. If that's acceptable.
Yeah, I've already gotten my evaluation into Shelley.
You're just waiting on me?
Waiting for you, waiting for you, waiting for
Yeah,
you.
I thought I filled one out once.
No, you fill out the town manager one, I have them all separate.
Oh, you got it.
I have, but I
No,
just need
but
the
you gotta go fire
chief.
chief one.
Yeah, that one's separate.
I apologize. I've got
Before we
mine
leave,
done.
you can give it to me?
I don't have your fire chief one, I just have the one for the town manager.
Oh, I might.
All right, so he's suggesting if we get him in, we don't need the executive session?
Depending on whether you've got clarifying questions, like Shelley had questions on mine, and
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Why would you have questions? You're collating, you're not,
it was clarifying questions, because I had written goals, and
Yeah.
she's like, what did you mean?
okay.
Yep.
Okay,
Oh, I got mine right here.
you'd ask me,
You have yours.
you'd ask me the same thing, Bugger, you. Look at his laugh. All right, so if we don't need an executive session, Shelley, let me know,
Okay,
okay?
yeah.
All right, super. That was your recommendation.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, after
Are
talking
you
to
okay
Shelley.
with that?
Basically, my goal was, let's get this
Get her
passed
done.
out.
You'll take
so
them?
we can get it
Yeah,
done.
I'll take them.
Okay, now it's just two of us. Heat is on, baby.
I did it. Mostly.
Okay. Other business, the Rangeley Water District Confidence Report. I'm proud to say that a high level of confidence in that report. Very, very nice job from the Rangeley Water District. Ethan Schaefer is a big part of that. Thank you, sir, and thank your company. And also, it should be mentioned too that the sewer district here in Rangeley received the same thumbs up, if you will, from their higher ups. They should be commended as well. Any questions on the monthly financials? DocuSign training. Ho, buckle your seatbelt. Here comes Tracy.
She got that wooden ruler.
I've got my gavel. You be
Snap
careful.
those knuckles.
Did everyone remember to bring their tablet with them?
I see your
Okay,
face.
does everyone have their tablets?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so if you go ahead and open up your town email, you should have the envelope that I sent out this afternoon that has all the documents in it that y'all have approved this evening.
A physical envelope or in the email?
Email.
Email.
So Joe is actually sharing his screen so you can actually follow along and see what's happening. That might be beneficial also.
You can follow right along, Joe, right there.
Oh, there you go.
So at this point, once you're inside of your email from me, you can just click on the review document.
Tracy, can you see what I'm doing? Review
I can.
document? Okay, good. You want me to click it?
Yeah, could you?
It's different than the one this yesterday.
I
Well,
am.
that's because after a certain amount of time, they lock up.
Yeah,
Can't
mine
get
was locked
into it.
up. I couldn't get
And
in.
mine did the same thing, but some of the things that I actually came in and signed, I know I DocuSigned as well, so I don't know what happened there.
So once you click on the review documents, it should bring up every single one of, well, tonight, for example, it's all the event permits and the like,
Right.
and then the workers' comp resolve is in there also. And once each one of you have clicked in all of the signature boxes, a finalized document will be sent to me as well as each one of you, and then it's just done. I think moving forward, if we get to a point where we have to go back to Zoom meetings because of whatever reason, if COVID makes another surge or this sort of thing, that I think we might actually make it an agenda item so we can get these documents signed while we're still in the meeting. And so it's wrapped up tomorrow morning. I can go ahead and start processing people's permits and get the liquor licenses back to them and this sort of thing. Are all of you seeing where the document is to be able to click your signature?
You won't be able to see it on the screen because I don't believe I have DocuSign downloaded on my laptop. Sorry, Tracy, I didn't think.
Okay, it was good in theory.
You guys have-
I just Xed out,
Dropped in some-
because it said I was finished.
There we go.
Tracy,
David, are
Tracy,
you-
can I ask a question?
sure.
Okay, when we get to the end of that, should we save a copy of the documents?
Yeah, you don't have to. Once everyone has, I'm saving copies of everything, of course. And I think it will, so I've just created a DocuSign folder in my email, and I drag and drop them over in there also. So I'm taking the signature document and putting it with an electronic copy of the application or whatever, but I'm also keeping all of your signature pages. So I don't think that's necessary for you.
Shall you upload an actual signature of yours?
How's it going, Mr. Haley? Are you seeing?
Yeah, I got it signed once, but now,
Just keep
Scroll
tapping
down.
the box, just keep tapping it,
Yeah.
Joe. Yep, just keep tapping that and it'll keep doing it for you.
see,
Do it again. You just, yep, keep going.
I do the, what's that mean?
Which what?
so
I
I
do the natural.
signed once, that's all I had signed.
Well, you just signed a bunch of
Oh,
times.
it's just
Top right,
like
hit the
you
finish
didn't,
button.
you didn't pick out a.
It just, you signed once and then it just.
Oh, I filled down
your
your
own
that
text.
signature,
Yeah,
click
Did you
tap.
hit that little square box on
With my finger.
your sign-in line?
It
It'll
don't
go down
And
through
it's
all the
stayed there,
documents.
that's all I
It's
get.
Smith,
No, no,
no,
thank you, where it says in the bottom, no,
no thanks.
you're all done.
Do you have all of mine, Tracy?
Well, let me see. It won't email it back to me until everyone is signed.
I see everybody sign.
Okay,
I
so
see that.
I would imagine in the next,
Well, if you
I
keep
would
the
imagine in
document
the-
open.
Oh,
make-
oh. Oh, so you saved the documents is what you did.
No, I just go all the way to the end, and
Yep.
then if, like, I just noticed when I went back, it didn't close out of the document, then I see Cindy's signature. Then I see yours and Ethan's in there, and now I see Joe's.
Okay, let me see if I can do that. Go down. Yep, I see them all. Very good, thank you.
We're all done.
Now, how did you guys do your signatures?
I just drew with my finger.
Me too.
Signed it, yeah.
Cindy and I have such terrible handwriting that we have
Me
to
too.
use a typewriter to get our signature.
Get that font selected for us.
so the exception to DocuSign will be the Registry of Deeds. They apparently do not recognize DocuSign as a
They
legal
don't.
signature. So when we do have a quick claim deed, I'll have to ask at least 3 of you to stop in person and sign it as quickly as you can, just so we can get them processed and out of here. So
Completed.
So, did you get the email that it's all completed?
it might take a few minutes for it to, yeah, I did. Actually, I've got it right here. Awesome.
Okay.
Mine was just locked up, I guess.
Do you have any questions on this, Dave?
No.
You good with it? Anybody?
Before I could do it, this last time I couldn't.
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, I think I had to email her once, and then I accidentally put in, like, the one you didn't have my signature in, it had expired, but when I went in, I emailed you, and at the same time, I went in, and I don't know how I did it, I got them to send me the document back.
Yeah. Yeah,
And-
I'm not sure. But
Yeah,
I think if we start taking care of this in meetings like we're doing right now, we won't have to worry about them expiring. And if there's any issues, we can probably address it right then and there.
Tracy, do you have anything else for us in that?
No, does anybody have any other questions?
Okay.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Internet was all hooked up.
Okay, select board communications, start with David. Anything?
No.
Ethan? Looks so. Kelly?
I have, one of the suggestions that I had, from a taxpayer is that in the town where you used to live at for the older generation or some people that had a hard time budgeting for their taxes, and they might not have a mortgage, is that his town did a coupon book. And they could come in each month to make that payment. And I just wanted to share that because I thought it was, and he said, if you were past due at all, you're totally off the plan and you have to make your payments when they're due. So just an idea.
Rebecca, did you hear that? No, okay. All right, Joe, you got that?
Got it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, Shelley?
That's it.
Cindy, anything? Okay. Nothing from me either. Thank you, by the way, all of you for putting up with my bizarre schedule over the last month, but I think we got through it nicely. I want to thank Cindy publicly for doing a great job at the union negotiation meetings. As some of you who've done this in the past know how difficult this is. And I think we've got a pretty good team working on it. Thanks for covering for me when I scheduled a doctor's appointment at the wrong time. So again, thank you. All right, we got nothing else. We got two executive sessions. First one is consultation with legal.
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session pursuant to MRSA Title I, Chapter 13, Subchapter 1, Section 4056C for the purpose of consultation with legal.
Second. Okay, Cindy and Ethan, thank you. All those in favor? Thank you. Thanks, everyone in Zoom land.
Okay, you're recording, Mr. Chairman.
We're coming out at 7:22. And I need a motion to go back into executive session.
I'll make a motion, we go into executive session pursuant to MRSA Title I, Chapter 13, Subchapter 1, Section 4056D for the purpose of discussing labor negotiations.
Second. Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
5-0. Thank you. Back in. I have 7:48. We're coming out. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Ethan
I
seconded.
might as well keep going.
Cindy and Ethan moved and seconded. We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
You want Tracy, you want the confidential stuff in the folder?
Yeah, if you just